Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and well, I hope you're having a good day. And where we are here, the day is sort of bolting along. The dogs are enjoying their early morning siesta after having a very satisfying breakfast, so they've told me. And I've got Graham here behind the camera, who's still here, and he's doing some nice work as well, if I can say that. I've got a banana tree up there, which is, I'm expecting a massive bunch of bananas on it, because it keeps on growing and growing and growing, and having a background in bananas, I haven't seen a tree quite that size yet without a bunch coming out. So I'm looking forward to what's going to happen there. It's a bit like being an expectant father, I suppose. That being said, let's bolt into this. Now, the other day, I haven't finished this one up here. I didn't get back to it actually, but I'm going to get back to that one and finish it. That was a rain painting. It was a pretty good one. But I have been busy in the meantime, very busy actually, doing these paintings over there. And I've posted a few of them on my Facebook there, but we can look at those some other time. What I'm going to do now is let's have a look at the painting, right? Here's a photograph which I took in Kansas last year. Right? It's a good one. You see how I filled up the frame with the figure. But for a painting, we can't really use it, because we can use it. I'm going to use it actually, but I don't like this openness up here. I want to tighten that. So I'm going to fold that photo down like that. Now that immediately pushes the eye back down. Okay? I'm going to drop this line here down a little bit lower. Well, it's about a third there. That's quite nice there. I might take it over a little bit further here and reposition the horse so the back leg is more into the water. I'm just going to change the composition, but one of the important things when you're taking a photograph is to try and compose your photograph so they are as good as they can be as a painting. So they're close to what you're looking for as an artist. All right, so when you're using a camera, keep that in mind. Use the camera as a device to compose and to arrange the elements so that you don't have to go back to the studio and rearrange and rearrange and rearrange. Right? The more you can get it right the first time, the better it is. Because then you've got no impediment on the way through to success. And we can't have any impediments on the way through to any success, because success comes through having preparation, having material, and having then the skill. So there's no good knocking out if you're hitting the kneecaps, right? You've got to go straight for the jaw. So we're going to try and put this one in. So here we go. I'll just show you. I'm going to finish this painting off. It'll go into a gallery, right? So it's a normal painting day for me. How am I going to do this? Well, I'll do it like this. So we've got an area across here. It's roughly that down to here. Right. Okay, that's roughly what we've got. This is going to be the grass, and there's going to be shadows across there, which are quite nice. We've got the horse in here. So because the horse is dominant, I'm going to put that in first, roughly where it's going to be, where I want it. What's key here is the shadow of the horse. That shadow is the driving, that's the line in to what it is we're painting. So that shadow, where it's located, is really important to how this painting is going to work out. So I've got it in my head here, that's going to be there somewhere. So I'm just going to put in a bit of a shadow area. And I'm just going to throw a little bit of blue and red together. So it comes in about there, and then it comes up. Now this could change at any point of time. This is certainly not cast in stone, because it'll all change as I go on. Because I'm going to make adjustments. There'll be certain things that are hold, certain things I'm going to lose. And up we go, and that's coming up to our first leg there, somewhere there. Now, is that going to work? We'll put that out. We'll have a look in a moment. There's another one in there, and this comes across, and we're coming up in here. Then we've got this other fight towards that leg there. We've got a tail out here. Now, that's where it is in relation to this format. On the photograph, that would be over here. But I quite like the entry point in the corner, because that gives you a dynamic situation where you've got not an entry point coming from a bland line, but from a corner. So there's a dynamic quality just emerging there, which we can take advantage of, and we should. Never forget the corner effect, which we could spend a lot of time about that, and how we actually use the size of a canvas to generate more interest in the painting itself. Every size, I love working with different size canvases. Graham's working on small ones at the moment, and they're coming out really great because it keeps you can experiment, right? I can scale this up. If this works out, I can scale it up. So let's come up to the horse now. So there's a leg. He's got a bit of brown in here. There's his leg coming up there like that. And this other leg comes down like that. And the hoof's there. Okay, so let's have a look where this leads me to. Clean that brush a bit. Let's get some more brown in there. That's a bit of, I think that's permanent alizarin or something up there at the top. And of course that's light red. And that's a bit of yellow. We can all see the yellow. Okay, so let's come in and let's see if we can see where this is going to go. This is a fan brush. I've just ordered another bunch of brushes to be made. So if you're waiting on a brush, and they'll be sent out from the factory, I'll get them in the US and in England and Australia shortly. Here we go. How are we going here now? Over we go to this back leg. It comes down and finds its way into there. Have anyone got to say hello to there, Graham? Has anyone? Have we got an audience?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Hello to anyone who's out there. That's that back hoof there. Up we come. Filling it in. Now, there's his tail coming out there somehow. Quite nice. I'm a bit worried about this composition being that far over now. We need to open this side up, so I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to really drive this light to pull the interest back over. I could move the whole thing across. Should I or not? What do you think, Graham? Or just go?
I think you probably have to. Yeah, by the time that head gets in there.
Yeah, by the time the head gets in there. So Graham, so we're moving it. Right, there's a dynamic decision. How do we move it all? Well, we do this. Okay, start again. There we go. So what I liked about that corner, so let me start with the head this time. Let's work in reverse. Rather than that way, we'll see where it ends up. So where do we want the head? We want the head about here. We want that neck about there. And the head up there.
I don't think he's in this issue yet, Deborah. I think it's the next one, the International Artist Ad.
It's in the one coming, yeah, the next one coming out. We've just had a look at the article. It looks great, doesn't it, Gum?
Yeah.
The article looks fantastic, and really happy about that. So here we go in reverse again. Now working this way. Now where are we? Up we come, back leg. That's better. That's better. So don't be afraid to just obliterate what you've done. Again, it doesn't matter. In the long run, what's important is you paint something that works. All right? Look at that in relation to that. That back heel and the tail is out there somewhere. And then we've got this bit of a light, throw a little bit of a light colour in the back of it now. So where are we? Up there. And the slicker and the mane is up in there somewhere, like that. We've got a little bit of a saddle cloth there. And we've got the slicker. Let's put that slicker in if we can. There's a bit of a yellowy, orangey colour. That'll do for now. It's a holding colour. And it comes down there. Right, down about there. I'm just looking at where it is in relation to everything else. And we're just sort of blocking in our... Here's a little bit of a tricky part here. There's the back of the horse. Now this arm, you're going to be tempted to make it bigger than it is. It's quite, because we're at that acute angle. And down we come, looking for it over there, cross into there like that somehow. He's got a scarf on, and it's a bit dark inside, so let's go in here like this. What I see is just it's really a purple, I think, he's got on there, so I'll just make it dark. And down we come. In that arm, he's got a shirt on in there, but I can just see the dark. Until I get the magnifier, I won't be able to really see what's going on in here. But I can see where the darks and the lights basically are. And down we go. Alright, looking alright. Finding more of that horse. Just tidying it up. The horse's head is about there, so we've got a little bit out. That's alright. We've got our standby cloth down there to correct any mistakes and make the changes we need to make. Right, now we're getting there. Now let's see where we go now. Let's put that hat in just sort of briefly. It's there like that. It's in there somehow. We can get our little brush in a moment and just figure out where that is. There's somewhere like that, and there's a shirt in there. Saddle cloth down here. I can just see it as a sort of a light grey. So I'll pop that in. Alright, how does that look? Now let's bring this shadow, let's find this shadow again. So we're coming down here and bang, it goes there, like that. And this tail comes out there somehow, like that. And this leg comes about there, it comes there, then it finds its way there. Excuse me. And over we go. Looking for this leg now, it comes down, it thickens out there, it joins with that one. Now where are we going to go? Down, comes out a little bit, then we go to the neck. And there's going to be a head in there. So now I'm going to put a head in. So it'll be elongated because the sun's coming from about 11 o'clock. So this is looking okay. I'm quite happy I moved that, Graham. We really did need to go. Otherwise I would have been unhappy. And you can't be unhappy when you are painting a picture for a gallery, because my name goes on this painting, as yours does when you do your paintings. And when your name goes on there, it's important that you are doing the best work you can. So we're looking at his shoulder there now, and down we come to the guy's head down in there and his hat. So that's what we've got so far. Not bad, not a bad composition. If we hit this light in here, this is going to really make this work. So I'm going to mix up just a grey now. I'm going to go to the shadow up the top. So I'm going to look at this grass and so forth. I'm going to mix up because we're getting further away, it's going to go into more of a grey. A bit of a red grey. Let's throw a bit of warmth in that now. There we go. And I'm going to spill it across here. It's going to just throw a couple of things in behind there. This is very thin paint. I'm just setting it up for what I'm going to do later. Now, down it comes to there. And we're still, I don't want to go any further. I don't want to have to do too much work up in there. I just want this horse to carry the whole moment. I want to spill some shadows in behind that hat. Let's pull that hat out. Let's pull that hat out. I hope all of you were able to use those photographs of the horses I did, or Graham put up the other day for you. Now that horse's head is sitting about down there. I've got it a little bit high up, so I'm going to
Deborah said she has too many canvases going. She keeps getting to the point of the go on the hill, and each time she keeps getting it wrong. What is her suggestion?
Well, I don't know, Debbie. You just have a beer, sit down under a tree with not Doug. Oh, I can't remember Debbie's husband's name. Really nice guy. Really lovely people.
Robert Culberson says hi from Kansas.
Oh, hi, Robert. You would recognise some of these, Robert. Tell the lads that they're...
This is Mark here, Robert.
It's Mark? Yeah, oh, it's Mark, is it?
That you're painting, yeah.
Are you sure it's Mark? Yeah, I don't know if it is.
Oh, who do you think it is? It's definitely Mark.
It is Mark. Well, there we go.
Neil, that's it, Deborah's husband, Neil.
Neil, that's right. Nice, very nice guy. Courtney's the daughter. And lovely family, I've got to say that. Our pleasure to have met all the people in North Carolina that came to our workshop there. It was a great workshop. Now see, I'm throwing a little bit of warmth into that yellow there. So as we come in forward, we're getting into a nicer, richer. Some of this will hold, some it'll go. I'm just doing a balancing thing now. I'm just trying to compose this and block it in. Pretty much like the photograph. So we've got to work our greys up in here. So let me go into mix up some greys, some more grey up here now. Now there, let's turn to red grey. Oh, that's what we want. Those sort of colours. We can come in and darken that up later on, as we want. But it'll just bleed into that nice other colour there. Okay, let's keep on going. Darken it a little bit again. This is where you lose, you don't take much notice of the photograph. This is where you take over your role as an artist. I quite like the idea of bringing that right down. It's bringing the attention back into where the horse is.
Oh, these are oil paints for G-top.
Yeah, possibly wouldn't tell, given the way I'm using it. Looks like it's watercolour or something, or acrylic or... Okay, so that when I put that across there, that tells us where that upper platform is. So now we're painting between that and that. Now let me look at this dirt area down here. Mix up a brown, throw a bit of dark blue in there. Now take the brush, I'm going to try and find this line between the mud and it comes in like that. There's a bit of that in there, finds its way down in here, across there.
From Diane Turnage. Hey Robert, Diana from Iowa, tell me about your philosophy about painting foreground first background.
Oh, about painting the foreground first?
Yeah, first the background first.
Oh, the background depends what you're painting there. Is it Diana?
Diana.
Diana, it depends what you're painting. If you're painting something like this, where you've got where you've got the main drive point in the painting is somewhere around about in here. That's where the light and the dark are going to be crashing against each other, right? Where you've got that impact area as a governing force, as a driving force of interest in the painting, then any decision outside that must be rated according to that important area, impact area. So, if the drive from here is from the foreground, the background is relatively subdued. I don't want that to be a challenging area. I want the eye to come in here and find this structure, which we know is a horse and a guy on the horse. So we want to find this animal and this man moving through this landscape. Right? The driving mechanisms, the instruments of control of interest are down in here. This mud, this water in here. I'll highlight clicks of white and dark in here. That's where the drive is going to take place. So the background in this case is a purely secondary support area. Right? It's not going to have the contrast, the colour, everything's going to be calibrated according to the front. So what I did here, I just threw the background in. You notice I didn't take much care up there. I didn't really care about that. But I'm moving myself down into here now. This is where I don't start with that. I start with the less important areas, because the more I subdue that, the more I've got the scope to amplify this. So that takes secondary importance. This is a driving area. This is where my attention's going to be and where the power is going to take place and where I'm going to get it right. The painting's it's either going to thrive or fail on what I do here. It'd be good or bad depending on what happens here, not there. That is a support, but it's got to be right. So I hope that helped. It's all totally off the back of my head. Now, so I'm going to come back in here now and play around with this water. This is where I'm going to get it right, more right than wrong. This water is important in here. This brown, muddy water and the lines that it creates. It breaks in there, you see. Now I've got some over here. I've got this mud.
May Delaney says hello.
Hello, May. Good to join me. Thank you very much. Hope everything's well in San Diego. And I hope Joe as well. Give him my regards, please. May is an awesome cook. When I was there, May cooked copious amounts of food. And I put on about 3 kilos every day. Every time I sat at the table, without even touching the food. I didn't actually have to touch the food. I just got bigger just looking at it. And whatever weight I have now, I will blame May and her kitchen for what I've become. And in the land of elephants, I seem to fit in pretty well now. So there we are, and on we go with the show. So now I'm putting in some of this dirt, right? So I'm building the storyline. And it gets into a muddy dirt. So we need to get a grey like that with a bit of there. That's the colour for mud. That sort of grey brown. We know it's brown, but as we get further up, the light clicks on it and makes other colours and values. So we can cut it into that background there. So now we've got that line becoming more obvious. Okay, let's put some water in now. Now it's going to be silvery water. So here I go. And the silver is going to come from what I put on that nice blue. That's a very light colour. You can see it there, Graham. Just come right in. I'll just look at that. I'll throw a little bit of yellow in there. These are the greys, beautiful greys. Look at there's a little bit of yellow in there. And roll that brush. Look, now you got the magic of this brush. Now I could use a pastry brush for this, but you know what's really happening? I'm becoming more swung over to this brush. Let's fix that leg up in a moment, don't worry about it. For this sort of part of the work, for special effects, I'll go to the pastry brush. There's no doubt that it's my go-to brush for special effects. I'm going to warm that water up a little bit now. There, you can just see a little bit of red coming into that grey. So, how does that look? Doesn't look too bad at all. Now let's come back up here and do this part. Now I'm going to go back to a value, just a light value. Look at that colour now. Right, so we're not, I can cut into there like that and create just the suggestion, because the brain will join the dots here. Suggestion of that field, that green grass up in there. And now the actual difference in colour and value is not very much. Right? And where I put these picks of light will really depend on how I want to pull that figure out. It was funny, in North Carolina, when we had the workshop there, Debbie's daughter Courtney, I had her sort of throw herself on the ground, and I was telling people, look at the shadows, how shadows work to support the figure in the narrative. Right? At the end of the day, you're the manipulator. And see that now, those little flicks? Of course, there's little undulations in the grass, so we can show little things like that. Now, what have we got now, Graham? That's not too bad. We're getting close to the other brush. Is there enough warmth in there, Graham, or not?
What about
up in the shadow areas? It's a big block, isn't it?
Mm.
It's a big block. Maybe we should pull the horse out, then come back and look at that. Come back and let's do our bit of work on here. I need the magnifier to see what's going on with that back
Diane,
leg.
can you speak to composition in thirds?
Diane, is this Diane from Florida?
Diane Turnage.
Diane Turnage. Hello, Diane. Composition, what, Graham?
Can you speak to composition in thirds?
Thirds, right. Scientifically, we have a lot of words written about thirds, the golden rule. The notion of thirds is really something that's surrounding us. The notion of thirds, if you look out the window here, you look at trees, you look at branches, you look at leaves, the structure of things in nature is basically on thirds, believe it or not. So the scientific expositions about composition are simply refinements of what we are surrounded by in nature. You go out and look at trees and look at leaves and the arrangement of nature, and oddly enough, it seems to be in thirds. 1/3, 2/3, 1/3, 2/3. They're the proportions that nature seems to express itself. So, being creatures of nature, we don't need to sit down and get ourselves, have our heads spinning with scientific examinations and analyses of what we see in nature. Diane, if you walk into, if we gave you a room and we said put a table in that room, I guarantee you that you will not put it in the middle. You'll put it somewhere to one side, closer to one corner than the other corner. You do that instinctively because you are a creature of nature. You're surrounded, and subconsciously you absorb these structures and these shapes and these proportions. Over your life, you've moved throughout these environments where this structure and this composition, this arrangement, proportional arrangement, seems to exist. So when we talk about where we put things in relation to other things, my thoughts and my direction would be, you follow your own instinct. When you dress, for example, you'll off-centre things naturally. If you're putting a shirt on or something like that, and you want to put a pin or a motif or something like that, whatever, if you flower arrange, right? If you decorate cakes, right? Again, you will be pulling your impact point to an off-centre area. And that off-centre area will be very close to a two-third arrangement. So we follow our instinct. When I did that and I moved it across, I knew it was wrong, right? And Graham just said, well, it's wrong. So we were acting instinctively. We didn't go for a ruler. We didn't go for a lesson in geometry, right? We just used our own common sense. So that's what I'd say there. So I hope that might make a little bit of sense. If it doesn't, well, we can blame the dogs. Hang on, got the wrong brush there.
Christine Agnotti,
yeah.
When reloading a brush, do you always remix to have differences in colour? Is there a certain rule for mixing?
When I reload, do I clean it or?
Do you always remix to have differences in colour?
Yes. You notice I very rarely clean the brush. I move from one to the other, and if it gets too much blue, I simply find another mixing spot. So I use that as a preparation area. I don't structure myself to clean the brush, remix, clean, remix, clean. That's more of a adaptation of a strict discipline about painting. People who paint portraits and things like that, who are more like botanical studies and paintings of butterflies, detail areas, things like that require clean colour. We're really painting a tonal sort of figurative landscape here. So the mere word tonal would suggest that there's a lot of mixing going on and not much cleaning going on. So that might answer some part of the question. It might not too. I'm just going to find the shape now. I'm going through the magnifier, back of this horse. So I'm going for a dark. Those of you who are in my workshop know that what this means. Here we go, down here. I'm checking this angle. Now, I've got the magnifier, and one of the important things about the magnifier is you use it at the point of painting. And I'm holding that so that the photograph is not like that, it's vertical. This sits on top of it, right? And I hold it so it's vertical, that's parallel with that. Both these lines are parallel. So the horse is not that way or that way. If I hold this perfectly parallel to that, then these lines here will take the same fall direction as the ones in the painting. And that's what I'm doing now. Now, if you're using any other digital support, like a monitor or so, you don't have that. You're going to be fighting. You're going to be resetting your brain all the time. And that's the advantage of the magnifier. Okay, now there's another leg in there. I can just see the back of it there, which I'll pull in later on. But
Julia Stevens says she admires her work, always striving to do your best and showing us the secrets. Are these secrets or?
Julia, well, these are secrets. These are well-known secrets, right?
Making them up as he goes, Julia.
I'm making everything up as I go, Julia. Don't you worry about that. Graham knows it. He said, really, Dad, did you think about that? That theory you just told everyone, is that something you've had in your head for a long time? I said, no. It's just actually come into my head. Now, here we go. Now I'm finding this fall of that slicker. Notice I'm making adjustment as I go. It comes in pretty tight there under his arm. There is the sleeve in relation to the hat.
Deborah says she keeps putting her figures in the centre.
Deborah, instinct. Now, Deborah, you go back and do the empty room trick with a table. And you test it out and ask Neil to be the critique, right? The critic on your result. Empty the room, and then I want you to put a table in that room where you feel it is best located, where it expresses itself the best, where you feel really happy about it, where if someone came in, they're going to go, oh, ah, ooh, ah, the ooh, ah effect, you know that, right? Bam! Ooh, ah, gotcha. Another ooh-ah, gotcha. And that's what it's about. Get the ooh-ah effect. The ooh-ah effect will come from you following your instinct. And that's the best thing to do. So, try the empty room challenge. Keep on labouring on here now that I've said. I don't want to get. I can't reveal all these secrets all the time. As you know, they're well formed, and you know, not many people know. That horse seems to be a bit short to me. I think we've got to come out here. I think that leg's got to come over where we are in relation to that hand there, coming down from that hand down to there. It's a bit short. It should be over here. See? I make mistakes. But now, if I didn't have the magnifier and looking at that proportion from there down to there, I would have gone back to there. So, correction. Now that's going to throw this over. Where does the other leg come in? It's there and there. And that's going to put that there. So, it's only the legs that needed to be shifted around a bit. There's nothing wrong with shifting your legs every now and again. Remember that. When you get a bit tired and so forth, you've been walking and you've been running around and do that, you're entitled to shift your legs. You don't have to go and ask anyone. So in this case, I didn't ask Graham if I could shift the horse's legs. He would have said, well, shift the horse's legs anyhow because it doesn't look right, Dad. So down we go here. And notice, now it's getting better. Right? Up we go here to the horse's neck. As I said, this painting will find its way into a gallery. So, I've got to get it right. I don't intend to finish it this session. There's the other ear there. You can see it's popping out now. This whole thing is going to be a rip-roaring painting. And where's it going to go, Robert? Well, good question. Now, I'm going to start to put in and shape this background a little bit in here. I want to see where we're going with this painting. So I'm going to skid the brush. See this skidding idea that I have? Gets a nice random effect. Keep on mixing up. What have we got over here? We've got, okay, down we go. And now, I don't very rarely show that technique. There's another secret. I can't give away too many, Graham, otherwise I don't know. What can happen? It comes over into this mud. We've got some mud in here. The horse is stirring up the water. Now it's starting to shape. What's going on up behind the horse then? Well,
Rita. Hey, Rita.
Oh, Rita.
She says, how do you get those photos with that perspective, Robert?
You can ask Graham about that, Rita. Graham will tell you.
Parachute.
Parachutes. We dropped Graham out of a helicopter at 20,000 feet with a camera. And he descended to earth at great speed, and on the way down he saw these cowboys. No, that won't work, she said. I don't believe a word you're saying, Robert.
No, I was in a cherry picker, Rita. We hired a cherry picker for the day.
That's exactly what we did. I'm going to take this across further. I want to open it up a bit more. So you've got to think, like that's a good question of Rita's. How does Robert get those, how does anyone get those special angles? And like I said before, in the article coming out in International Artist magazine, I talk about that. And I said that's one of the ways you can really power up a painting. Of course, water, of course, rain is another one, right? Okay, let me go down here.
Yeah, let's look at the photo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Let me come back up to this slicker again. I'll do a little bit more on him. A little bit of red in that. Now if we go here, and I'm going to try and find this line down here.
Hey Norma, what lens did I use? I think I used like a 24 to 70 millimeter, but anything will sort of do, really, nowadays.
Yeah, I think so. But only if you can parachute. I know Norma can. Norma would say, that's a cake, that's a piece of cake, Robert. So parachuting, just let me at it, she'd say, just let me at it. There's nothing special about parachuting. And she would certainly, with her light frame, she would drift down, Gum. She wouldn't plummet. Like she'd be like you, she'd drift it down. I'd plummet to the ground with my May baloney extra weight. So what am I doing now? So down we go. Now I'm going to have a look at that hat, and I want to pull that hat out a bit more now. Where are we? There. How am I up high enough? There's a scarf in there that goes there like that, and then the hat is up here like that. I've got it a little bit low down, so I will now get it in position. So I'll now go for a little bit of light and just click where it is. And there's a scarf there.
Norma bought the 7200 mil. Shit.
She did.
Yeah.
Oh, good on you, Norma. Good on you, Norma. How much did you pay for it, Norma, please? What did you pay for that? I hope you got it second hand or...
Hi Jenny, maybe I'll share something at a later date when I start painting properly again.
What do you mean when?
Oh, yeah.
He's painting very well now. Don't you listen to a word he says, Jenny.
I started working on this one here.
Show what you're doing.
It's a work in progress. No one paid $1,200. That's pretty good.
That's good. That's a good price, Norma. That's a very good price. Very good price. You'll get. That's worth every cent of it. I mean, there are 2,000. Normally, they're 2,000. Nearly 1,900, I think they normally are, or 2,100 or something. Not a cheap lens, but it's one of the best lenses ever.
And Anne Mayer, here's a good question.
Yep.
Hi Robert. Was there a reason that you started painting the figure first tonight? Background, because the last one you normally do the background first.
Yeah, well it was because it was more about, this is a statement painting rather than a composition painting. So because it all relies on the one figure being right, I needed to get it dead right, where it's going to have the most impact and where things have got the highest impact. So I'm going to quickly go off this now and start to ping in the other things. Just let me get this a little bit more in here. And then I'm going to come back on the bigger brush and start.
Thanks Deborah, thanks Jenny. Hey May, Lon Erickson just got here.
Oh, hello Lon. Hello May again. But hello Lon. I've still got those paintings here, Lon, don't worry.
I've told him he's got to send them off to you, Lon.
I get too busy. But I look forward to seeing you in Vegas, Lon.
We're all varnished, Lon. I varnished them the other day. All good to go.
Just got to get me organised a bit better.
So show them the paintings you did this last video,
Yeah, you can show. Take
so these are the paintings that I did in the last 3 days. These are all from the Kansas shoot.
Well, now I've just sort of gone ahead. Now, where are we up to? So, let me look at that now in relation to that. Right, I'm going to put some more darks in here where this soil has been turned over and just sort of create a little bit more activity in here. This is a very thin mix. And over here it'll get into, the sun is shining right down that way, so I'm just going to put little dots and dashes up in here. These are just the forming ones, they're not final. Right, now that's working. Okay, come down here where it's a bit...
Suzanne wants to know details for the Las Vegas workshops.
We don't know yet, Diane. I haven't...
Suzanne.
Suzanne?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know yet, Suzanne. At this point of time, I've got a lot of painting to do when I get over there, so I really need to be painting my own paintings rather than teaching. So I'm looking at maybe pushing it back a little bit to November, if that's any use to you. So that's sort of where I'm at with those at the moment, but I'll let you know.
Here's one more painting, Robert, from the shoot. It's not done yet.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Campfire scene.
That's a good painting, that one, Graham. See, that painting there, now that's one of the things you need to know is don't try and bowl yourself over too quickly by jumping into things that are too much a jump forward. Go in slowly. So I do these small ones to test out the composition, to test out the effect, to test out a way of painting. Is it going to work? So that one down there at the campfire, that's something I've never done before. So I've got to keep my confidence high when I do it. So how do I do that? Do it small so you can quickly get to a final effect. Don't destroy your confidence, because when you go into a new painting like that, your confidence is very brittle. Even my confidence at this stage, after 40 years, is still very brittle. I'm afraid to talk to girls. Right?
I don't know about that.
No, I am, Graham. I'm still scared of girls. I know that you think, no,
that's more like my brother's more like that, actually.
No, I when I do, I'm under stress. I'm definitely under stress. So you don't jump into these paintings too quickly. That's the key I'm trying to get to there. Now, notice what I'm doing here. I'm just taking that and I'm finding another colour up here that would possibly be better than what we have. Now that is quite good. That's a sort of a grey-green, which looks quite good up there. Right, now, let me go down. I'm going to get this brush again. I'm going to go for a bit of a king hit now. That's why when we do it small, like this, we can be high risk. Right. So I'm going to look at powering up.
What yellow are you using?
That's a lemon yellow, believe it or not. And I'm just going to look at how I can chisel my way with some very strong touches here. Now there's a bit of almost white there, but I can knock that back later. I just want to see how this is going to unfold. Am I on the right track? Is it going to work?
Yeah, Alex, it works me pretty hard. I definitely did get stuck on the cherry picker, that's for sure.
Well, you loved it up there, actually. The truth be known, Graham, I couldn't get him off the cherry picker. He wanted to stay there. I had to send his lunch up to him. He liked that bird effect.
Deborah said she used to live in the mountains. She should go back to painting memories of wolves and such.
Well, Debbie, no, just wait on. I'll come back to North Carolina sometime and I'll get you and Neil and Courtney and we'll do some more painting and modelling and everything. All my best to Courtney too.
Painting
Debbie.
size? What's that? 24?
16 by 20, yeah?
16 by 20 inch?
Yep. Now, is it going to work, do you think, Graham? Is it going to work or not?
Cynthia Herbert is
Yeah.
watching.
Hello,
80
Cynthia.
miles east of New Orleans.
Oh, where are you, Cynthia?
She just moved there.
That sounds like where I should be, Graham. That's where we've got to go. Drop everything. We're coming over, Cynthia. Tell me your address, please, because I want to go there. Now, notice that, Graham, that bit of a yellow against a blue-white, a yellow-white. See how they're just really whacking each other? Now, that is going to pull the attention of the viewer right down into here. And if I hit it over here and combine that with that blue-white, now we've got something really working our way down towards here. This is
Biloxi, Mississippi.
Oh, Biloxi. We went through there. We went through there about 7 years ago. We had did we stop there and have those crawdads?
I think so, yeah. Oyster bar or something.
We Cynthia Herbert. Cynthia will be there next week actually. Look forward to just, if you've got an old shed or a pile of newspapers in the corner of your garage, that's all we need to sleep on, right? Nothing more. We'll just go and eat the crawdads, right? You can cook us a bit of breakfast every now and again. We don't need much. Now, I'm going to put this, I'm going to start to build up this background a little bit. Just see if it's going to work. Notice I'm not worried about what the photograph is. Now I'm just going for a combination of effects that's going to push our interest back down into here. Now we're coming down into here again. All right, now I want a couple of big hits of yellow in here. Maybe one up there, like that. Right. So we're looking okay, Graham. I think now, this is all interesting down here. I'm going to do something now with this big brush. Look at this. Now, I'm going to show you something. Here's a bit of trickery. Another Robert Hagan secret revealed to the very few people that are watching. Those that are really committed to painting. That is liquid impasto. I'm going to take this brush, which needs treatment.
There's another one there.
There's another one there, right? There's another one. Is it better? They're both about the same condition of disrepair. So I'm going to take this one. I'm just going to use it as a blunt instrument. And I'm going to mix up this sort of colour down in here from what I've got here, if I can. I need some paint in here though, first of all. There's some white. And I'll just get a bit of... let's do it up there. I'll take that.
Ron says you need a tube squeezer.
I do, Ron, I do.
Little.
Up here. Now see if I can mix up a thick glunk. Look at that. Now there's a nice thick paint. And being not too careful. Let's throw some in behind here. Now in here. See if we can chisel our way. See? This is what you don't see other artists. They won't show you this. Look, now we're starting to chisel our way. Look at that in there. There's a lot of grey in that. Where are we here? Back into there. This is how we can pull out those legs. Look, see that? Now I put a bit of light in there, a bit of light and dark, and it's going to get even better. Now we're coming in a warm cool, a warm grey against it. Even go up more. Look at that, clunks of light. Clunks of light. How good is that?
What does the liquid impasto do from Julia Stevens?
Julia, you look at that now, how thick that paint is. And that is the liquid impasto with thick paint. So it simply bodies it up more. You get a real clunky look about it.
So it's sort of like a clear... It's clear.
Yeah, it's like a
clear medium.
A clear medium, correct. Now let's just drop a bit up in here.
Jenny Blankenship said, this lesson has made me want to paint all night.
Jenny, go ahead. Now let me look over here how we're going to do this grass then. Given that, can we just take that same approach back down to here some more?
Roseanne. Yep, it makes it thicker and it makes it dry faster as well.
Yep, it'll dry very quickly. When we do, those of you who get the, now I need a bit more yellow there, Graham, so I'll come back down here to get some more of this lemon yellow. And let's see if we can drag that into here. Try and get, we don't really want a yellow, we want a blue yellow, sort of, there, a grey blue yellow if there's such a thing.
It's nice painting this one.
Yeah, see how, don't be afraid. Now, these big strokes, you want that light that's coming from here, so we're going to have a shimmer. Some parts are going to be strong, other parts are softer. Let me pull this, let's see if we can pull that cowboy out a bit more. How does that look from back there, Graham?
Right.
Is it suffering? Is it in? There's another bit of. Now look at that bit of light just hit there, right? Now that almost makes a painting. That almost makes a painting. If we have another one here, maybe that'll help it. Just introducing. Now, what about down here? Clean that brush. See?
2 minutes to
2 minutes and now I'm out. Well, it's been a pretty good day. Let's see if we can get down here into this brown here gun. Show a bit of a swirling water effect. We need some more of this. I've got to do it quickly. I'll get a bit of yellow ochre, put up there. Not that I've had that in my palette, but I'll put it in now. Into here, I want this swirling water, brown water. A bit of yellow, back up in here. See if I can mix that colour quickly. A little bit of blue, a little bit of red in it. There, that's our water. Okay, here we go. Down we go. And it comes in here as well. That'll do it, I think. Graham?
No, Lon wants to see a close-up of the photo.
Yeah.
That's from the Shoot in Kansas line.
Those of you who like all this, listen, I'm going to try and do something that we can all benefit from with the guys in Kansas. I really will. It would be great if we had a workshop where we've got these guys. Then you can see the whole process, right? And I can tell you how it works. And I do it. I know what these guys can do, and I know the scenes, and you have got your own imagination as well. You just need the mechanism, the circumstance to put it together. So from that you can get good paintings, right? Like that. Okay? So I'm going to see you again. You take good care of yourself. Make sure you feed the dogs, and when you do paint, make sure there's a knockout blow, bam, and follow up with a knife kick. I'll see you again next time. That was no height in that at all.